Hi, everybody, and welcome to our weekly time together, Lunchbox Live, formerly Ask Amanda. I wanted something that was a little bit, I guess, more fun than Ask Amanda. But this is the time that we get together every week and we talk. So I answer your questions, things that have been sent to me over the past few weeks, things that you can send to me as we're talking live here today. I'm going to continuously be checking my comments to make sure I can get to any questions that you have. But I wanted to create a time where we could actually sit down together and have a back and forth. So I have my Career Next podcast, which I love doing. And I do hear from people now and again about the actual podcast, but I don't get that live back and forth with you. So I want to make sure that I'm here to support you and answer any of the questions that you have. So welcome to Lunchbox Live. Hopefully you've had the opportunity to grab yourself something to eat and we can all hang out. I probably will have lunch with you and be eating on some of these Lunchbox Lives. It just depends on what takeout I can get that day, to be very honest. Okay, so I have gotten a few questions since last week, and I will start with those. If you are watching this and you have a question, please go ahead and put it in the comments. I will get to it and I will definitely answer it live. If you're watching this as a replay, that's great. Continue to do so, but also put the comment, put your question in the comments on whatever platform you're watching it on, and I will see that and I will answer you. And it will be me, it will not be a bot. So, but let's start out by looking at some of the questions that I currently have. So I tried to get fancy, and now you're going to see them pop up on the screen. So look at me. I'm such a good live streamer now. But the first question I got last week was, why did I leave CNN? And you know what? That's a great question. I talk about my time at CNN a lot. I talk about when I left corporate to become an entrepreneur. And I don't really talk about like the why of why I left too much. CNN overall was a great company. When I started at CNN, it was extremely entrepreneurial. I had some amazing people that I worked with. I believed in the product. I felt like I was doing something that made a difference, that allowed the news to be actually disseminated to everyone, that I was supporting reporters who were putting their lives on the line. And we had fantastic management from the top down. It was a great experience. As time went on, that did change for me. My life changed. So I became a mom. I had a small child at home. I'm a single mom, but also, what I wanted to do with my life changed as well. So I decided that it just wasn't a fit for me anymore. So it wasn't that, it's a terrible place. I mean, everybody has their opinions about news, but it was a culture that had changed. So I will say the culture didn't fit me anymore. It didn't fit my value system. It was very much more business oriented than it had been previously. It was more entrepreneurial and more about the mission. And I felt like I needed a change. So I put my plan in motion, which turned into the Next framework, which is what I work with my clients on. So that's why I left. I wanted to travel less, be home more, and love what I do again and feel like I was making a difference, because I'm the type of person that if I don't feel like I'm making some sort of a difference, I can't get excited about what I'm doing. Which brings me to the question of, what is Digital Desk? So I've mentioned Digital Desk quite a bit as well. Digital Desk is one of the companies that I created when I left CNN. So when I left CNN, I had found coaching. So I had found the coaching model, which is what I do now. And I wanted to become certified as a coach, and I wanted to go to training to become a coach, because coaches aren't just people who rah you. There is a process, there is a training. And those of us that have gone through, I went through a year of training, and then I went through certifications through the International Coaching Federation, and I continue to do so. So every year I need to up my game and also take what they call CCE credits and things like that to keep my certification. But those of us that have done that, it takes some time, and it takes time to not only train, but it also takes time to kind of really learn your craft. Anyway, so when I left CNN, I wanted to do that because I really had a heart for it and I love what I do. But I also wanted to learn more about digital marketing. So I had these two sides of me. I had the analytical, the technical side, the marketing and the advertising side that needed to be heard and needed me to pay attention to it. But I also had the coaching side. So what I did was I created Digital Desk, which again was a digital marketing agency, still is, and it services small businesses and helps them with anything that they need from a digital marketing standpoint. So that means that if they need a website, Digital Desk helps them. If they need SEO, Digital Desk helps them. If they need to do Facebook ads or Google ads or anything in the digital marketing realm, Digital Desk helps them. So that was my first company as I was training to become a coach. That Digital Desk company actually was extremely successful, still is to this day. And that is something that I'm still part of, but I do not run it. I actually have someone else dealing with that. And it's a digital marketing agency that I'm extremely proud of. And in developing that and actually creating that and watching that grow and watching that be so successful, I learned all the rights and wrongs of building business and how to make a business successful. And I also learned that I needed to make sure that I was honoring both sides of myself. So I was doing about 75% Digital Desk, 25% coaching. And the switch recently has been where I have someone else doing Digital Desk for me. And I am doing almost 100% coaching because I felt like now 10 years into this that I wanted to do more of the coaching, but also because I've had such success. And again, I'm not just tooting my horn, I'm just saying my experience has grown quite a bit over the last decade with entrepreneurial businesses, as well as my business, my client's business, etc. I was getting more from myself. I was loving the coaching part more for myself. So that's what Digital Desk is. Amanda Her Coaching is my coaching company that I work with either women who are looking to leave corporate America and start their own businesses like I did and stay gone like I did, or working with entrepreneurs who are currently in business who are looking to take their businesses to the next level. And the cool part about all of that is that my digital marketing expertise, my advertising expertise, all of that rolls up into what I can provide as a coach and mentor as well. So it's all coming full circle because when you listen to where your path should be, the road becomes laid out for you. So that is what Digital Desk is. I think I answered the question, why become a coach? I became a coach and a certified coach because I saw a need for women who needed to have a safe place to actually talk about what was going on for them in business. And they could talk to a woman who has expertise in this, who has been there, who has been in their shoes. And then why become an entrepreneurial coach or a coach that coaches entrepreneurs? Because there's so much out there for women. And many times we might feel like the only course we can take is working for someone else. And that's the safe bet. That's the safe route. And that is not the case. Being in corporate is just as safe as being an entrepreneur. In fact, it's maybe not even as safe. What you're going to get is consistent paycheck, yes. But when you're working for someone else, that person or that company decides, do you get to keep your job? Do you get to have that promotion? Do you get to grow your skills? They also cap how much you can make. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur, do you get a steady, paycheck? Like, do I get, the same amount every single week or every 2 weeks? No, I don't. Sometimes I get a giant amount. Sometimes I get mid-level. And you know what? There are some weeks where I don't make anything because I made a lot last week or the week after or before. It just depends on my billing and depends on what I decide, what I want, how many clients I want, when I want to launch programs. I'm in charge. But that's the thing. I'm in charge. I can make high six figures. I could make high seven figures. I could make nothing. It depends on what I want. So I became a coach because I'll be honest with you. And if you listen to my podcast, the first episode, I watched my mom work 3 jobs and she worked her ass off. And she was an incredible mother, but she was tired. And she loved what she did. Okay. She didn't love doing as much of it as she had to, but she did like what she was doing. But I don't want to see other women have to work like that. I want women to see all of who they are and all they can be and all the possibilities. And I want them to know that they can leave and they can stay gone. I want them to know that if they own their own company already, that it's okay if we have a slow month, because guess what? We can pour the gas on and get you to an accelerated, crazy, successful month. You control your future. You control what your story really is. And that's why I became a coach. So I could talk about that for hours and get on my soapbox, but I won't. Okay, so and if you have any questions, again, make sure to put them in the comments. I'm just going to check. Okay. Hi, Beth. Thank you for joining. Okay, so the next question that we have for today is nope, and down. Okay. Okay. Imposter syndrome. For those people that don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's something that we talk about a lot in coaching, but imposter syndrome is something that I feel everyone probably has. A lot of women have more of it than men. But it's when you are going to do a task or a job and you start thinking to yourself, well, who am I to do this? So-and-so might be better than me. Do I really have the chops for this? Am I an idiot to try this? It's that little voice inside your head that's like, wah, 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 don't try it. You're going to fail. You don't know what you should know. Somebody's better at it than you. That's imposter syndrome. So how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Well, everybody has it at some point in their career. And it's not like you fix it and then it's fixed and it's gone and never comes back. Imposter syndrome is something that when you recognize what's going on, you can start to control it. So one of the things to do is to stop and think about, what good you have done. When you have succeeded, what did that look like? What were you doing then? What are the skills that are required for whatever it is that you're feeling like an imposter about? Do you have those skills? Have you been successful in those skills? And I'm going to bet the answer is yes. When have you done whatever it is that you're about to do in the past and you've succeeded? When was that and how were you feeling? Surrounding yourself with people who are honest with you and are cheerleaders. Surrounding yourself with positivity. And those people, letting those people replace that want in your head. Maybe taking the, as I'm the scientific part, want. Maybe taking whatever that voice is telling you, writing it down, crossing it out, whatever that is, and rewriting it in a positive mode and reading that out loud. Do that enough and your brain stops want, and your brain starts to give you positive affirmation. True story. But imposter syndrome is real and it's okay. You know that you're human. And it's just about being honest with yourself and breaking it down into pieces. Another part to this would be just overall mindset. One thing that's really helpful for mindset is entrepreneurs are great at the big vision. I'm guilty of this. Big picture. Here's my vision. And so I'm working towards that vision. And I don't celebrate my wins along the way because I'm too busy with my goal being so ginormous that I forget that I've reached smaller goals on the way and I don't celebrate. Therefore, I'm exhausted and I'm not happy. And I'm always thinking I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. So making small goals on the way to the big goal and then celebrating them is really, really important. One of the things that I do with my clients is, and I should have pulled this down before, but is we go through this success plan. So if you don't have a planner and you're interested in a planner, you can get this on my website. There's a digital version and then the hard copy. If you don't want my planner, cool. That's fine too. But get yourself a planner. And here is you go through and you make for 90 days, you make goals for yourself, right? First you talk about your values and then you get into 1 year goals. And then you're going to get into 6-month goals. But then I break it down even further. 3-month goals for 90 days. Then it's weekly goals. And then it's daily goals. So, and you don't do it all in one sitting. You do 1 month at a time or 1 week at a time. And then every single day you're checking in with yourself. And guess what that's going to do? That's going to change your mindset. And you're going to figure out, oh, I am moving that needle. I am going further. I am doing something right. I am not an imposter. So, and it has like an area for gratefulness, reframing the negative, that kind of stuff. But so that's on it's under the planner on the website. Again, if you have a planner, awesome, use it. If you don't have a planner and you want that one, it's on the website. If you don't have a planner, get one. But that's going to help you with your mindset as you go forward. Okay, next one. How do I know it's the right time to start my business? I just had this conversation actually with somebody, and it's really hard to know because like there's always that next thing that you can achieve. Like if you're in corporate America, you might be like, when I reach this next goal or this next milestone, I'm going to leave. Or when this happens, I'm going to leave. Or when that happens, I'm going to leave. And, you know, when I was thinking about leaving, it was funny. I literally had a spreadsheet of how much savings I have, when I would have enough to leave. I was working with my financial planner to make sure that everything was going to be fine, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept moving that needle back, right? I kept moving that needle back. And I finally realized it's kind of like when people say, when you're going to have a baby, like when's the right time to have a baby? There is no right time to have a baby because you don't know what that's going to require when you have not had a baby before, or even if you're having your second or third child, you don't know what that requires. There's no right time. So really my answer to you is this. Can you put passion against what you are doing in corporate still? Are you still interested by it? Are you like just going through the motions so you can get to the part where you can actually do your business? Is corporate sucking away your soul? Has it become like that for you? Are you burnt out? Those are the things. If you cannot concentrate on your current job because you want to go do your business, that's an indicator. What I will say is not leaving before you have financial stability is key. So what I did, and I've talked about this a lot, but I figured out what I needed to live on. Then I padded it for the things that I didn't realize, would come up. And then I lived off of it. I lived off of it for a while, but you would need to live off of that for at least 6 months because you got to know, can I actually live off of that? Knowing how much your insurance is going to cost, those types of things that come into play. If you haven't created a plan for an exit, it's not time to leave. It's time to leave when you have your plan, you have your financial foundation, you have a good idea of what you want your first year to look like. It doesn't have to be 3 years, 5 years, but what's your first year goal, and then backing it into 6 months and then 3 months. Then you can leave comfortably. Again, don't go into work just pissed off one day and quit, because that's not the game here, because you will end up having to come back, and you don't want to do that. That's when it's time to go ahead and go, is when you are ready. Now, if you are burnt out, if you are not interested in what you're doing in corporate anymore, if you think you can't handle another day, whatever it is, maybe it's not even that bad, but it's just like boring to you, whatever it is. I'm not saying you can't start planning. Now, people who just, what you can do while you're still getting a paycheck. They just up and leave, and then they got to, invent the wheel. If you're feeling like it's time to leave, but you don't have your ducks in a row, start putting those ducks in a row. Start getting your stuff in order. And if you don't know where to start, let me know. I'm happy to help you. There's also a guide that's available. There's a checklist that's available for free. I have tons of video on it. Happy to help, if you want a consultation. But you just go to my website. There's a lot of different resources for you there. Listen to my podcast called Career Next. Let me tell you, I lay it all out there. But it doesn't mean you can't leave. It just means that you're going to get yourself ready to leave, and then you leave. So I hope that's helpful. And my business is 4 years old and not growing. What should I do? Great question. Because I don't know what kind of business it is that we're talking about, I'm going to just talk in generalities. If your business is 4 years old and it's not growing, then it's because you aren't growing. One of the things about being an entrepreneur is that the business tends to grow with the experience of the owner. So the owner drives the bus as far as growth. If you are static and stagnant, then maybe thinking about doing something a little different than you've been doing will be helpful. They always say, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, I don't want to say it's dumb. It's just, it doesn't work. Let's put it that way. So what it does go to is, what can you do differently? Can you do some market research? Do you need to speak to your market differently? Is there more networking that can be done? What can you be doing that's different? Can you advertise in different places? Can you just start advertising because you haven't done that yet? Can you look at more modern ways of having a conversation with your audience? Can you do more of this kind of one-on-ones? Can you get into different groups of people who are your target audience? Do you need to refine your target audience? But generally, I would say that when a business is not growing or it has become static, it's because the owner has become static or has taken their hands off the wheel or is maybe too busy. Like, this is what happens too. Entrepreneurs get like uber busy to think of things differently. Or you might have a situation where your team doesn't think differently, or your team isn't telling you what you need to know. They're telling you what you need to hear. So generally, it takes a look at what's going on, like from a holistic way, like what's happening holistically, and then pinpointing the areas that need to change or to morph or to be modernized. But that's what's going to get things going. It goes from the top down, and it also is part of the culture as well. So again, I don't know what kind of business it is, but I would encourage you to do a review and look and see what's happening so that you can find the holes in which maybe revenue is leaking out. So those are the questions that I have today for our Lunchbox Live. I do hope that you will send me any questions that you might have to Amanda at amandahercoaching.com, or you can put them in the comments on whatever platform you're watching this on, and I'm happy to answer them. I will probably answer them next week on Lunchbox Live, which will be Wednesday at noon, like it is every week. This is week 2, so like it is every week. And I just, I am here for you. So if you DM me on any of the socials, I'll DM you back. It's going to be me. It's not going to be a bot. I want to hear from you. Listen to my podcast, Career Next. It's on all of the different podcasting platforms. And let me know what you think. I want to hear from you what you think. And if you are finding this helpful, or if you have any more questions. So thank you again for sitting with me at lunch. Beth has to go. Okay. So I will see you next week on Wednesday, and I hope to hear from you very soon. Have a great day, everybody.